AA batteries may be small, but they're almost impossible to live without. From remote controls and wall clocks to kids' toys and small electronic devices, they quietly power so much of our everyday life. But have you ever stopped and wondered what happens after those batteries run out of energy and get thrown away? Honestly, I used to treat them the same way, use them, toss them, and move on, until I realized that these dead batteries can still cause real harm to the environment if they're not handled properly. That realization is what led me to make this video. Today, I want to share with you a simple and practical way to take apart and reuse AA batteries, using the most straightforward method possible, so anyone can understand it and try it at home. Instead of jumping straight into the process, I'll test these two batteries first, so you can clearly see that everything in this video is genuine. Nothing is staged or prearranged. This brand new AA battery has a very strong power level. Keep this number in mind, because later, when we recharge a battery, this will be our reference point to see how full it really is. As for this old battery, there's absolutely no remaining power showing at all. That makes things very clear. By this point, I think you can feel more confident that everything in this video is real and unstaged. Now, let's get started. In this step, I'm using sandpaper to clean this drained AA battery, and there are two clear reasons for doing so. First, it cleans the surface, removing dirt and oxidation that have built up over time. Second, it reactivates the positive and negative terminals, improving surface contact for the next steps. To be honest, I reused this battery quite a few times already, but I usually skip the cleaning part, which is why it looks a bit more worn than usual. Next, I'll mix a solution to try bringing this battery back to life. For this part, you can simply estimate and follow along with what I'm doing because there aren't any exact measurements or fixed numbers. Based on my experience, as long as you follow the general idea, the chances of success are quite good. In the process of reviving an AA battery, I use two different types of salt: regular white salt and pink salt. Each one plays a slightly different role. White salt helps create a better conductive environment, supporting the reactivation of what's still happening inside the battery. In simple terms, it helps wake up the remaining potential inside a drain cell. Pink salt, on the other hand, works in a gentler way. It helps keep the process more stable and evenly affects both terminals of the battery. From my personal experience, combining these two types of salt makes the revival process smoother and easier to manage. Everything I prepared here is easy to find and widely available. As long as you follow the basic principles and do it step by step, the chances of success are very high. In this step, I wrap different color tape around each end of the battery. This helps clearly identify the positive and negative terminals, so there's no confusion later on when it's time to recharge the battery. Here, I'm using 2 sets of bolts and nuts as intermediate components. Their role is to receive energy from the initial power source, then interact with a saltwater solution to create an energy conversion process, which in turn affects the AA battery. Just a quick note here. Make sure the reaction inside both containers has fully finished before disconnecting the power source. This isn't a step to rush. Now, let's sit back and watch the reaction take place. Even though the reaction hasn't completely stopped yet, I can't really wait any longer. I'll clean things up here first, and then we'll move straight on to the testing part. Very nice. The reading now is almost the same as the brand new battery we tested earlier. That's a solid result. With a bit more soaking time, it should be fully charged. At this point, you can clearly see the outcome of this experiment. From a battery that seemed completely used up, with the right approach and enough patience, we're still able to recover a surprisingly decent amount of energy. What matters most here isn't speed, but taking your time and being careful with each step. This video isn't meant to prove anything absolute. It's simply a personal experience I wanted to share after spending time testing and experimenting on my own. If you find this method interesting, think of it as a reference, something to learn from and explore further in your own way. Thank you for staying with me until the end of the video. I'll see you again in the next one.